Right, I thought about making a video about this one. I've been meaning to do one for a little while. As you can see, it's jacked up in the minute because it's about to go under a bit of surgery. A couple of little, well, not little, but a couple of issues I need to sort out. One being the turbo is too small, so that's going to get upgraded. I've got a bit of an issue with the wheel bearing on this side. I've got a bit of play in it I need to check out, and there's a oil leak that's appeared. But I thought I'd better do this video before I go too mad on it and explain what I've done to the car. As you can see, it's obviously heavily modified. Start with the engine. Originally this is a 1.5 turbo diesel. This is an original 1.5 turbo diesel car, so it's quite rare now. This obviously is not the original engine. This is the block is an 8 valve. 1.78 valve from like a Mark III Astra. The head is a 16 valve head from like a Mark IV Astra van. This head has been ported because the ports on it are awful from standard, so I did all that. I think I've got some pictures of that when I did it. I'll try and put those in the video. It's got custom made inlet manifold that I made. See, it's twin port, so there's 8 runners, which was a faff, but that works nicely. That makes room for the mechanical pump which is down there, which I've built. It's quite upgraded. It's got an 11mm plunger in it that comes from a transit van pump basically, and it's got a throttle plate from a 16 valve to increase the pressure for the high pressure injectors. These crack off at like 140 bar, I think it is, which is a lot. The 8 valve ones, which is what that pump's originally from, are like 105, I think, so you need to increase the pressure for the injectors to work properly. It's got a reasonably small intercooler down there. Big air filter. It's got hybrid turbo which I made, so it's got standard exhaust manifold, standard exhaust side from a Mark V Astra van, so like the 110 horsepower one, so it's VNT. So originally it's a GT 1749V, but I've put the compressor housing from a bigger one, so it's now a GT 1752V, so 3mm bigger compressor. Works pretty good. It lights up stupid fast. There's no lag at all. But as I said, it's getting a bigger turbo because about 18 psi is about all it can do before it starts restricting it too much. The exhaust side's too small, so it needs a bigger exhaust side. So I'm going to be building a GT 2056V, which I've got all the parts for. So hopefully that will do a bit more appropriate. It's got a F20 gearbox from a Mark III Astra GSI, nice and strong. I'm using Mark III Astra drive shafts from a 1.7 turbo diesel, which are an inch longer than the Nova ones, hence the wide track, big arches. Because you'll be able to see I've lengthened the bottom arms by an inch and then strengthened them all up, but welded strengthening plates, so they're nice and strong. So the track is actually an inch wider, hence the wheel arches. It's got 300mm discs on the front from a Mark IV Astra GSI. They are Vectra V6 calipers with the bigger or longer brackets, I suppose you'd say, to bring it out to the 300mm. So they fill up the 16-inch wheels nicely. These are standard like 16-inch 5-spoke wheels from like Mark V Astra vans basically. That's how they came with standard. I think they look pretty cool. 195 40 16 tyres, fit under the wheel arches quite nicely. Rear brakes are Zafira. these have got the handbrake cable on the caliper. The what a lot of people do is put the 5 stud. Oh yeah, it's 5 stud by the way, which I've converted it to. What a lot of people do is use Coilovers turbo or Vectra rear brakes, but they have inboard shoes which never work very well. They're bloody heavy, and like I say, the calipers are crap. So this is a better option. A lot lighter, and obviously parts availability is a lot easier because it's a newer car, and they just had to weld the bracket on the back to fit these calipers. It's fairly standard disc conversion on the Nova. It uses the the Saphira handbrake cables, which I've had to modify to fit. I mean, you can't really see that because it's under the car, but just get under here, you probably won't be able to see. But, you see the coilovers. It's got Spax coilovers on the back, which have welded these brackets on for that. Yeah, yeah, you can't really see it's behind there. I think I've got some pictures that I put up of me doing that. It's fairly not easy process if you know what you're doing, but loads of people have done disc conversions on these before. Yeah, so that's pretty easy. I've made a I think it's 2 1/4 exhaust system for it, all out of stainless. It's completely straight through now. It's not that loud. I mean, the exhaust, the turbo, is it down quite a lot, which is annoying because I want it to be a bit noisier. But yeah, it's not a lot more to go through. I mean, I've got modified these strut tops to fit it's actually got Nissan Silvia S13 coilovers on it, Meister coilovers, which are very nice. Absolute bargain off Facebook, 50 quid I paid for those. They're a really good size for the car. I don't know if you'll be able to see it if I go under. I had to modify the bottom bracket here to fit the Nova hub, which is quite easy. I mean, you unscrew that from the shock, so there's no problem with the heat getting to the shock. Unscrewed that and welded plates on the inside to take the thickness out to the Nova, and re-drilled it for Nova. The Nova hubs, bunged them on, they fitted absolutely spot on. Didn't even have to adjust the springs, it just sat perfectly on them, so that was a win, and they're really good. It's got, I think these are SR seats. Turn the light off. More comfortable than the standard ones. Interior is really standard, there's nothing to really talk about on that. That's the other half home in our Nova. You've seen that one. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not really much to talk about. Like I say, the next step is bigger turbo. I'm going to do a video about that soon. Just have to say hello to the missus. Yeah, there's not really much else to talk about really. I suppose obviously it had this had an absolute ton of welding. Basically completely remade the cross member down under there. Seam welded all the engine bay. I had loads of welding underneath, new seals, load of welding in the boot, but that's all boring stuff. You don't really need to know about that. It's got ARP head studs, which I had to modify to fit in this to try and clamp my head down a bit more. That's the only real modification to the engine. Everything else is standard. I redid all the bearings and everything in it, new rings. It's got the radiator is enormous. It's got a massive alloy radiator behind there. It's actually one for a Ford Escort RS Turbo. It's the same one I had on my Mark III Astra. See under there, it's bloody enormous. So it doesn't get hot at all. And that's pretty much it, to be fair. I'll be like I say, I'm going to do a video of doing the turbo. I've got to pull all the front end off, get the rad, get the intercool, get all that off, and then hopefully that'll be over the next week. I'm going to start doing that. So yeah, keep you posted.